Hello, class. This is our question and answer session, and I decided to start the meeting because it is after 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and I only see myself actually as a participant. So I will go through this briefly and go over your first assignment. If you have any further questions, you can always email me or contact me. All that information is in the orientation to the class video. I cannot stress enough that you read your announcements. This one this week particularly, we had a few changes made to this class and actually all classes. Number one, we will start using the APA Manual 7th edition. And number two is before you can access, it's now Module 2, you need to complete the assignments that are made, and I'll show you those at this time. It's the academic integrity, the plagiarism policy, APA basics, Turnitin instructions, know your syllabus and resource quiz, getting started quiz, and LIRN library quiz. These will all take time, so please do this before next week. I would say by Sunday, I would try and complete this. All this information should give you what you need for the new edition of APA format, and the rest of these are to help familiarize you with plagiarism and where to get your resources so that your semester or your session will go smooth for you and none of those will be an issue or a concern. The other thing I would like to tell you is about your assignment, which will be coming up next week. So next week is going to be a busy week. And that in this class, there are 2 written assignments and then quizzes. The reason we did it that way is we want you to concentrate on writing papers, but also on keeping your NCLEX skills up to date. And by doing that is by continuing to take quizzes and refreshing your knowledge and building on your knowledge that you already have. Just want to check to see if we have a participant. And all right, Alan, are you in the room? I see your name, Alan. Hello. Now, oh, now you're unmuted. Hello, I will continue trying to get you to unmute. There we go. Are you, can you hear me? Okay. Do you have any questions? And okay, good. I'm recording it, and you are the only participant, so congratulations. I did start with just basically this is a question and answer session because there's that orientation to the class video. I don't know if you've had time to look at that, but that's a good, that will give you an overview of everything that is expected in the class. So that's in your announcements. And then I did talk about the new requirements for the class, which are in the module section. I can just go through that again. And these need to be completed by next week before you open up module 2, otherwise you won't be able to get in. There's a fair amount of work to do here, so I would suggest getting it done like by the weekend. There is a little hitch that if you need to retake the library quiz, it's not letting you, so we are still working out some of those details. Then I was going to go over your first assignment, which is next week, and comes up rather quickly. And that is called the Healthy Lifestyle Assessment assignment. It's 200 points. It is a written paper. And what you're to do is look at a geographical area. It says in a community, but it could also be a community. So for example, I live in a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin called New Berlin, and I could actually do my assessment of that area, or it could be a county, or sometimes people have used Indian reservations. My suggestion is keep it small. If you try to do a country, it really is hard to meet the requirements of this assignment. So I suggest not to do that. And it's usually easier if it's someplace that you have easy access to or where you've been to in the past. If you're looking information up on the internet, that you can still maybe get information from someone else. But if you do it just solely on the internet, it makes it more difficult to do this assignment. Does that make sense to you? The geographical area or a community? Okay, I know some people have struggled with it, and I'm not quite sure how to make it any more clear. But basically, you're looking for an area to look at healthy living lifestyle. So you're looking at what it's offered in that area. So again, if you keep it small, many people use around in Utah, Salt Lake City or Provo or any of the many surrounding areas. So first you would do that in your assignment, and then you would explain why you chose that area, maybe because you're living there, maybe because you want to move there or you've been there. But you, in your first introductory paragraph, you're going to list why you chose that area. And then I suggest always dividing your intro, your 2, 3, 4, and 5 as your title of your paper. You can use main headings or a main heading and then the second level headings. But that way you know you covered each topic and covered each area, so you met that criteria. So the first one is looking at the area and what is available in that area that would promote physical activity, nutrition, health screening, social activities, immunizations, educational opportunities, which would include public and private or educational institutions. So examples, but not all inclusive, but examples of physical activity could be parks, hiking trails, that type of thing. That would be public, and private might be gyms or something that you would have to pay. And then you would go through each one of these criteria: nutrition, health screening. Health screening could be the public, could be free health fairs or something like that, or it might have to be paid for. But you go through each one of these and discuss that. Then you discuss how are these available for all populations? Are they open to the public? Do you have to pay? Is there membership? So you might have an area that has many nice things, but everything has to be paid for. So that would limit certain people. The next one is looking at vulnerable populations, which include the elderly, people with disabilities, and others. And then you want to go back to all these areas you've assessed, and then are they friendly, user-friendly to people who are elderly, people with disabilities, or if you have another group that you're finding that they do not have access. So one example, and I think this is an easy example, but if you've assessed all the parks in your area, is there a park with people, for people with disabilities? I know they do make those parks with larger swings, wheelchair access, those type of things. So you want to go back and look into your assessment again and see how it's meeting not just people who are healthy, but people who are more vulnerable. And then include a discussion of the barriers that you find that are preventing them to work to attain a healthy living lifestyle. And then in your conclusion, make sure you summarize it and then answer this question: are there any populations that would have limited access to healthy living lifestyles? So your paper is 3 to 5 pages. The first page would be a cover page, the last page would be a reference page, and that does not include the 3 to 5 pages We are using the 7th edition, and you do have to follow grammar and punctuation. So here is your rubric. Again, I would use these as topics. So I've got 5 different topics here. Always make sure in a rubric that you're covering everything that's listed in this column. That way you know you're meeting the criteria. Same with this and the last 2 criteria. And then the rest of the paper is we're looking at formatting and make sure that you're not using more than 20% of quotes. So do you have any questions about that? I like it if you use the headings for your topics, like introduction, healthy living assessment, barrier. I mean, you can think of different titles, but you could use abbreviate any of these. But that way it divides up your paper, and I think it just comes across as a neater looking paper, and it keeps your thoughts organized. So, and I will include this recording, and then I will also include a sample of a paper of what it would look like. I always think that helps people to get a visual of what that looks like. So does that make sense? Gary, do you have any other? Go on. I'm sorry, go ahead. I agree. I think if everybody would watch the videos and look at the rubric, and usually we include sample papers, I think the scores would be really high across the board because it just makes a big difference in completing an assignment. So that is that assignment, and then you will have one later on, but I won't go over that tonight because that's further along, and that's in week 4, I believe. And this is basically just a table, but I'm not going to cover that now because I cover that in a separate video and put that out when it's closer to that assignment. So you don't need too much information all at once, right? So to me, if to be successful in this classes, make sure you always read your announcements. I post them every Friday. Sometimes I'll send out other ones. And if it's really important, I might send an email. Be in the discussion threads in a timely manner. I find the discussion threads are a great way to increase your knowledge and critical thinking skills, because now you're building on some of your med-surg background and nursing knowledge. So I try to add things in the discussion to get you to think like a nurse. And what would you do in these situations, so that when you are the nurse, that's how you'll start training yourself to think like that. Do you have any other questions? You're good. I'm glad you're happy. Okay, good. That's good. Did you get to do your modules yet? Okay, and you might want to wait a day because there is a little glitch in one of them. I think you can't retake one of the quizzes, and they're working on changing that, or so we're on that. But yes, we have to get that fixed, so that should be happening soon. So do you have any other questions? Okay, I'm glad that you attended the meeting. It's always nice to have someone to talk to. And I will be seeing you. Oop, there's another participant. Let's just see. Savannah? Can't get her. Hello, Savannah. Good. Did you just jump in now? Okay, I did record everything, so I will put that in an announcement, but I did go through the first assignment and just want to make sure you complete the academic integrity